for operational excellence in shared services. We're going to look and focus here on the traditional back office functions of IT, HR and finance, simply because they're common to all organisations, but the logic here applies to any activity that could be dealt with in a shared services centre. We're going to look at the challenges facing shared services, we're going to look at some case studies, but we're going to spend a moment initially just making sure we have a level set here, a common definition of what we mean by shared services. So let's start with a simplified view of the enterprise.
Our simple enterprise has 3 business units, each with its core activities and its supporting services. Now let's assume that there's a decision taken to set up an HR shared services unit. So, keeping it simple for this purpose, HR operations are migrated out of the business units, onboarded into the new HR shared services unit, and then delivered from there. This gives scale and tends to enable process standardization, which typically delivers greater efficiencies and enables more automation. And the underlying HR systems can usually be rationalized as well. The net result is that the business units typically get better HR services at reduced costs. Finance operations might also be migrated out of the business units to be delivered from a finance shared services unit. And similarly with IT. This is all grossly oversimplified, of course, and the reality is never this neat. It's just an illustration. Often only some activities will move into the shared services unit, or they'll be migrated in phases over extended periods. Not only that, initiatives of this kind tend to happen in parallel rather than in sequence like this. And usually the shared services organisation itself follows a development path. So the shared services centres may be initially in country, then get consolidated into regional centres serving several countries. And many organisations then go one step further and consolidate their finance or their HR shared services into a single global support network.
However we define it, shared services has grown consistently over the past decade, and this growth looks set to continue. And it's not difficult to see why. It's the same reason that organisations outsource. It's about freeing up the business units to do what they do best. Shared services enables the development of scale economies in the activities that are managed through shared services. It enables the development of specialist expertise. In fact, it delivers improved services at reduced costs. So those are very clear benefits. What are the challenges in shared services?
The shared services unit faces very similar challenges to any outsourcing service provider. The need to onboard operations from the business units to manage their internal clients' transition into the shared services unit successfully. The need to run ongoing transformation programs that will drive standardization and unit cost reduction. The need to create and manage a product or a service catalog which describes for their clients and for their own internal use what they deliver and how. And the need to manage collaboration with their clients on innovation and continuous improvement within a clear governance framework. Another challenge in practice is that shared services units typically outsource some activities, often quite a large proportion. So in reality, this is usually a hybrid service delivery model, a mashup of in-house and outsourced services. And in many organizations, the new challenge is to create and manage the ultimate shared services organization. Most often labeled Global Business Services or Core Business Services, it's shared services squared. It's about applying shared services principles to shared services itself as an initiative to further reduce costs.
The challenges in shared services will depend to some extent upon where the organisation is in its transformational journey. But studies by academics, consulting firms and sourcing advisors, and indeed the experience of Nimbus clients, suggest that there are 3 critical success factors that underpin sustainable operational excellence in shared services.
Firstly, there has to be shared understanding. A 360-degree visibility, an understanding of the broader context, so that everyone's clear about their roles and responsibilities, about deliverables and handoff points, and about the governance framework. Secondly, there has to be control. All the parties need to know that they're in control of their own destiny. The shared services unit and its internal clients need to understand their risks and responsibilities at every stage, and to have a full audit trail around every decision point. And those activities that are outsourced need to be visible and clearly managed. The third success factor is collaboration. The shared services unit and its clients will always be seeking continuous improvement, and typically the shared services unit will be driving significant transformation projects to standardize, to automate and to deliver innovation. So change is continual, and effective collaboration, often across organizational silos, is essential. Let's look at these 3 points in more detail and see how Nimbus Control provides a unique enabling platform. Understanding requires visibility and transparency. Nimbus Control enables an organization to build one integrated process model, providing a complete picture of the enterprise, its end-to-end processes, and not just what's automated. It includes not just process, but also metrics, documents, risks, and controls, and it has a governance wrapper because otherwise it's not sustainable. Critically important, it's in the language of the business, its real DNA, not an artificial construct that's only understood by IT or some process group. But what's required goes beyond visibility and transparency. It must also make process capture straightforward and have powerful analytical features that support design and re-engineering. Nimbus Control has all the features required to support capture, analysis and design, including activity-based costing. Critically important, it has features that support Lean, Six Sigma and process improvement teams, as well as IT and enterprise architecture teams. It can link SAP transactions to process activities and can synchronize with SAP Solution Manager. The most effective collaboration takes place, of course, when everyone is speaking the same language. Nimbus Control provides a collaborative framework for the enterprise, with features that support the needs of all the various stakeholders, whatever hat they might be wearing. Ultimately, adoption by the process end user, the process consumer, the process executor is crucial. Nimbus Control creates processes that are easy to understand. They're intuitive, based on the very simple idea of an activity box with inputs and outputs, or even simpler, what we do, when we do it, why we do it, how we do it, and who's responsible. As a user, I can click on the drill down for more details on an activity, or I can click on the paperclip to see attachments that are relevant to me and to my role. Storyboards lead the end user through the enterprise process model, providing step-by-step practical task support.
So this has been a whistle-stop tour, but I hope it's shown how Nimbus Control provides a platform that enables understanding, control and collaboration, which are the critical success factors here. Now let's look at some examples.
The first case study is about IT shared services in a global investment bank. Nimbus Control was used to underpin a global program to standardize processes and tools. Before the project, 112 tools were being used to support 12 processes across multiple shared services centers around the world. The program team initially captured the existing processes, then they held workshops to develop the new global best practice processes. These future processes were enriched with documents, metrics, storyboards and other training materials to support the end users and the other stakeholders. The governance framework was also pinned down, with roles and responsibilities made clear. And throughout the whole program, all the systems aspects were being captured and managed within Nimbus Control, and so within the same process framework. Finally, the completed global processes were rolled out to end users as a personalized, intelligent operations manual, all within a single governance and collaborative framework for managing innovation and continuous improvement. And the results were extraordinary. Standard processes enabled a single global toolset to be deployed. In problem management alone, 15 tools were reduced to 1. And it wasn't just the cost savings. The IT Shared Services unit developed a new agility in meeting business requirements through the streamlining of this approach. The second case study is in finance shared services, where Serco, a $7 billion outsourcing business, chose to initially deploy Nimbus Control. Serco used Nimbus Control to analyze its 280-plus group finance processes, to integrate them with its risk and controls framework and with its SAP implementation, and then to deploy them to end users. These images here are taken from the video created for Serco's internal launch of the new system. The third case study is not a mainstream shared services project, but it's a great illustration of the capability of Nimbus Control in meeting the challenges of shared services. In 12 months on a public sector transformation project, Nimbus Control enabled this client, which is part of the UK National Health Service, to capture a complete understanding of the work being undertaken in 3 separate business units, to consolidate those activities into a target operating model, to elaborate that model to agree its end-to-end processes, to combine it with documents, metrics and storyboards, and then to deploy it to a new site with an almost totally new workforce and to launch. These 3 case studies illustrate how Nimbus Control provides a platform that enables the understanding, control and collaboration that are critical to success in shared services. It provides a single source of truth, accessible to all the various stakeholders across all the various organizational silos, that keeps everyone on the same page and enables collaboration on innovation. It's important to note that there are no preconditions here. Wherever an organization may be in its use of shared services, whether it's just starting out or already managing a global business services operation, Nimbus Control can deliver more effective collaboration with immediate benefits.
A briefing of this kind can only cover the most important aspects. There's a whole wealth of detail here we'd be delighted to share with you. So do please get in touch if you have any questions, feedback or comments on this presentation. Thanks very much for listening.